Winning Shot Podcast family, what's going on? How y'all doing? Good evening, good afternoon. Are we live right now on YouTube?
Nah, it's just recording.
All right, well, we'll take the recordings today. God bless y'all today. Today is the 28th of July. We almost at the end of the month again, which means that mortgage and rent is due in a couple of days. So y'all get that money ready to go. But listen, while we're here, we're so excited y'all join us for another episode of the Winning Shot Podcast. We're your hosts, John, Hundo, and Collin. Man, we are super excited to get into some sports talk with y'all this evening. As you all know, we have authentic takes on sports. We will be bringing that into this evening as we discuss training camp for the NFL and other various topics as well. Before we get into the nitty and the gritty, fellas, how y'all doing it towards the end of this month, man?
I'm good, man. I busy season for me right now, so
Yeah.
just trying to transition between jobs, location, headed back home. So it's a lot to do with packing and trying to enjoy sports and get on the podcast, stay consistent with this, man. But God is good.
I'm already knowing.
All the time, brother.
Amen.
I'm doing good, man. Working, staying out the way, Same.
Yes, sir. I'm already knowing. If I was one thing about Hundo, he gonna stay out the way. He won't even try to get in the way if you ask him.
Y'all got it.
Nah, facts. That's his go-to saying right there. And I'm glad your brother's doing well, man. I can't complain. Also doing well. End of the month, just trying to keep the main thing, brothers, and just keep my head on straight. All is well. My wife is well. Family's well. So everything's good, bro. Everything's everything. My grass is looking good. The rain is helping it grow a little bit more. I may have to cut it again. My neighbor, every time my neighbor cut his grass, I'm like, dang, they cut my grass. But it's crazy because my other neighbor, he'll never cut his grass. So his job be looking high. And so, like, in comparison to me, my neighbors is like high, like low. And then my neighbor's like super low because he just cut his yesterday. So I'd really trying to step my neighbor cut his there low because I'm trying to have nice grass. Anyways, I was getting on my grass tangent.
With the neighbors out here.
Listen.
Boys, I need that yard of the month.
I gotta have it, Hundo. Gotta have it. I got a lot of comp out here. These guys getting after. I ain't gonna hold you. They really dedicated to this lawn, so I gotta get up my game some more for sure. Next lawn season, I'm gonna really be locked in even more. But enough about that, fellas. It's time. It's time. Like I said, it's the end of July. Not only is your mortgage due in a couple days, but also the NFL is back. Training camp is officially underway, fellas. Teams have reported the majority of the NFL reported today with at least vets. Rookies, quarterbacks, and other teams and things like that may have reported last week. But the majority of NFL teams, veterans, reported today, which is the last people to report. And a lot of practices typically will begin tomorrow. So with that being said, I mean, you can pretty much say that the NFL is back. We actually have a preseason game next week, the Hall of Fame game. The Carolina Panthers take on, I want to say, the Arizona Cardinals next week. And so we will have football back literally next week. So we're back, man. So we're really getting into the full swing of things. And just with that in mind, man, we have a lot of training camp headlines to kind of go into because there's a lot happening. So I know we will need, before we even get into the headlines, though, we got to talk about the people who got paid. Let's just name a couple guys and kind of just talk about their impact of kind of what has happened. So we'll start with Jalen Carter. He signed a big deal today, making him the highest defensive tackle in NFL history from the Philadelphia Eagles. Denzel Ward signed a 2-year contract extension, which made him once again the highest paid corner in the NFL, and if I'm not mistaken, NFL history. There's also been some linemen that have signed as well, and just other miscellaneous guys who've signed big contracts also just starting that training camp off with a new bag. A couple names missing, right? So notably, Lamar Jackson has not signed a contract. He is due very soon for a new contract. Zay Flowers also on the Ravens due for another contract. But then we also have some guys who signed big contracts and were put on the PUP list. Alec Pierce out in Indianapolis put on the PUP, signed a big contract this offseason with Indianapolis to come back. Had a couple guys as well who just weren't able to kind of get back in time. So look at Micah Parsons. He's also on PUP. So just naming a couple notable guys who are signing these contracts or under big contracts who aren't able to perform and will miss some more time this season. And then we have, once again, these guys who have signed these contracts. So let's start off with the guys who have signed the contracts first. I know I just went through a lot. Start with Jalen Carter. They went ahead and paid him, and they've also paid Jordan Davis. And so that solidifies their front seven for years to come. So kind of what is the impact of signing Jalen Carter? And Did y'all think it was going to be able to get done?
I mean, I think it was inevitable. I don't think he was ever going to walk. He definitely is one of the top defensive tackles in the league currently. I think one of his biggest knocks is just his crash outness.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
we saw it with the Cowboys game when he spit on Dak. And there's been other instances where he's gotten into it on the sidelines and with Sirianni. I feel like as a defensive tackle, you probably need that because that's probably his self motor. He's in terms of being a self starter, but I think he needs to control that because the Cowboys game was a meaningful game, so you don't
hmm
want your top paid defensive tackle or just top play payer in general to be out the game because of behavioral issues.
yeah,
But I still think he's one of the top when he's on the field. I feel like in terms of the signing, it kind of makes sense why they had to move off of AJ Brown because they have other people they need to sign, moving forward. And this kind of solidifies one of your core guys on the defensive end for the long term.
yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Georgia guy getting paid, man. Bulldog. But yeah, so similar to what Collin said, I don't think he was ever going to walk. I think that's somebody that you want to keep around. We've seen his impact on the field for the Eagles in a short time span. And then next offseason, they're going to have to pay Quinyon and Cooper DeJean. So we're going to see what happened with that. But, I mean, Philly is going to be Philly. Philly's going to drop that bag if need be. They're not afraid to pay that money if you deserving to get it, of course.
Yeah, I agree with y'all, fellas, man. I definitely think it was had to happen, right? I honestly don't know where Philly keeps getting all this doggone money from because they keep paying these people. I'm like, how y'all paying everybody? I'm really just trying to understand. I need to talk to Howie man and see how he's doing it because the money and it's not these aren't little contracts, right? Like Jordan Davis got paid a hefty amount when he got paid as well. So for him to have money to pay two defensive tackles and then gonna have to jump back nation, like you said, sign Quinyon and Cooper DeJean. He already got Saquon Barkley, who's the highest paid running back and one of the highest paid running backs in the league. You got Jalen Hurts, who's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. I mean, oh my gosh, has Devontae Smith be up for a contract, or maybe he's already signed his next contract already? But if not, I mean, golly, they got a lot of money to find, and you are going to need it, but they continuously find it. So shout out to Philly, bro. I mean, y'all continue. It's a good thing to be able to draft talent and be able to retain the talent. I think that speaks a lot to the front offices. A lot of front offices these days don't really have the opportunity to draft and retain the talent that they're able to grow right for their respective teams. So shout out to Philly for that for sure. Um, with that sentiment, someone else who's also done that is Cleveland, right? In the respect of they had Mr. Denzel Ward, who is obviously a top corner in the league and has been for a plethora of years. So he once again has signed himself to be the highest paid corner in NFL history. Very deserving bag, if I may say so myself. But tell me what your takeaways from Cleveland signing Denzel Ward back.
Yeah, this is another one. I think he's a good corner. The only thing about this signing is I just really didn't get the timeline because
Mm-hmm.
he is a top corner in the league, but I don't think Cleveland is win now personally. And it just feels like later on they might get a couple of trade assets for him. And just thinking about the upcoming Jared Verse contract because since Jalen Carter got paid, I'm sure Jared Verse is going to be asking for at least the same or if not more. And so in terms of them building out their roster, obviously a majority of your contracts are filled out in your quarterback room, like with Deshaun. And so you got to think about, okay, are you going to invest in Jerry Jeudy long term? What does that look like? Obviously, I think Harold Fan is not for a little while, but you got a couple guys on defense, man, that you still have to pay. So in terms of the long-term move, I just don't see it as like a viable option in terms of like a good signing because I think Denzel Ward's a good corner, but that doesn't always mean that you have to pay, top corners like top money. I feel like they could have moved off this deal and, kind of gotten younger. But in terms of Cleveland, I don't think this moves the needle at all, personally.
Yeah, I don't know if it moves the needle for them, but I mean, I feel like he's deserving of the money. If they didn't pay him, somebody else was gonna pay him top
For sure.
dollar. He's still gonna do what he do, regardless of what the team success is gonna look like. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like he's still gonna be out there balling, holding it down on his side of the field. So I mean, to say it's not deserving or that it might not work, I don't feel like you got to keep your talent in house, especially when you got it, and try to hold on to it. I mean, they already lost. Didn't they lose Miles Garrett, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Jerry Worse.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. He's still young and like in his prime in a sense. So I don't think it's necessarily like a bad deal for him from that perspective either. So we'll see. I don't think he should be the highest paid, me personally.
Who you think should be highest paid?
Pat.
Not mad at it. He should got paid later. That's all that is.
Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's just how it works. Though. I
I'm
mean,
about to go to the timing
Denzel
game.
is Denzel a top 5 corner in the league right now?
Easily.
I think so.
Easily.
I would put Pat, Christian
Stingley.
Gonzalez.
Is Christian better than Denzel?
I think so, bro. I feel like he be holding it down, bro. He be holding it down on his side.
I mean, Pat, Christian Gonzalez, Stingley. You could low key put Devon Witherspoon in that conversation.
Over Denzel?
Yeah, for sure.
Over Denzel Ward.
This past season, yeah, for sure. And low key, like, I don't know if I'll put Denzel next over Trent McDuffie. I mean, I feel like Denzel, Trent McDuffie is a conversation.
Hey, Denzel. This getting kind of disrespectful out here to you, dog. Me personally,
he definitely not top 3. I don't think he's top 3. I don't think Denzel's top 3. I think that 3 is clear.
I disagree. I'm definitely putting Denzel top 3.
Over who?
He right behind Pat.
Huh?
I don't know about that one.
Denzel Ward's right behind Pat.
In front of Stingley?
Yes.
In front of Gonzalez?
Bro, okay. Once again, I watched Stingley. I mean, I watched Stingley too, but I watched Denzel because I'm a Ravens fan, so he's in my division. So I've seen him cover guys, even outside of the people in our division. You know, he's clearly he got paid because he travels and covers top corners every week. So I mean top receivers every week. So I mean, yeah, I mean Denzel's clearly like that in my personal opinion, humble opinion, for corners. I'm easily putting him top 3.
I can't get you on that one, brother. Personally,
like I said, Trent McDuffie's tough. Christian Gonzalez is tough, and who else I mentioned up there?
Stingley.
Stingley's tough as well. Yeah, Pat's number 1 for sure, but Denzel right there, and Denzel and like you said, Denzel and Trent. I'm putting Gonzalez behind them.
Have you watched the Patriots for real?
Yes, I watched Zay Flowers cook Christian Gonzalez last season, actually, with my own 2 eyes. So,
is Quinyon Mitchell top 10?
Top 10, yeah. Top 10.
I think he has an argument right there with Denzel.
Heck no. Y'all tripping, bro. Y'all disrespecting Denzel Ward. Y'all making sense. He a scrub. I mean, he plays in Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland sucks as a team. But like, if Denzel Ward was to any other team outside of Denver,
outside of Houston,
nah, I think he's corner 1 in Houston.
Bro, I think Stingley's corner 1, bro. I feel like
Stingley clears.
I feel like you're disrespecting Stingley, bro. I feel like you really disrespecting Stingley.
I'm not disrespecting him at all, but I still think Denzel's corner 1. They're gonna fight, obviously. That'd be a crazy tandem. First of all,
it would be.
It's not. I'm not saying it's far off. But I'm personally giving Denzel Ward a slight edge. That's what I'm saying to y'all.
Wow.
Yeah, we got to drop your top 5.
Yeah. I mean, we'll drop the corners. Yeah, we can drop corners on that list. But I think it's the reason he got paid what he got paid, bro.
I'm not denying that, bro. But like, I just feel like Pat should be the highest paid. Period. Regardless.
Well, tell him to go back to the table once again. We can't do it about that.
That's all I was saying in my point.
I didn't disagree with that. I do agree that Pat is the top corner in the league easily, hands down, no questions asked. But I think Denzel's right there, which is why he got paid what he got paid. Do I think Christian Gonzalez is going to get paid? Absolutely, he should. He definitely one of the top corners in the league. But I think he's better than Denzel Ward. Me personally, I would say no. Personally. Like I said, that's just me. So Um, shout out to you, Denzel. I mean, I hope you continue to lock up people this year. Outside when you play the Ravens and continue to perfect your craft, bro, and be who you are. Like I said, I've seen the tape. Um, speak for itself. The career that you had speaks for itself out of Ohio State. So yeah, yeah. Keep locking up, Denzel. Um, let's stay in Cleveland. Let's get into this training camp, bro. Because once again, like I said, stuff now begins. I know we kind of touched on the fact of new coach, new coaching staff in Cleveland. Um, Denzel once again gets a new contract. We got Jared Verse out there. Miles Garrett is now gone. What kind of storylines do y'all think follow Cleveland into this training camp, and what kind of questions need to be answered as we begin?
It's really going to come down to the quarterback. I think their roster is not terrible. Obviously, we just talked about Denzel Ward. I feel like you got Jared Verse, who's not a huge drop off from Miles Garrett. I feel like he, in his own way, like he's still going to be one of the top pass rushers in the league. You got Mason Graham, and like I said, on the offensive end, you got Jerry Judy and Harold Fannin, and then you got Casey Concepcion. Like I know we like joked about him, but at least if he plays in the slot, I think he can be a threat. Hopefully he can back up the things that he was saying. And then you got Quinshawn Judkins in the running back room, which is, he's definitely a nice back. But, all of this goes to waste if they don't have the quarterback. I think Deshaun, obviously, he's been out the past couple of years just with surgeries and stuff like that. But when he came back, 2 years ago, he didn't look good at all. And so the thing is, just the noise of, the Shador versus Deshaun conversation, I feel like, that could get very noisy. So hopefully they solidify who's going to be the number one quarterback instantly, so you can kind of avoid some of that, quarterback battle controversy.
Yeah.
I think if it was me personally, like you have your money tied into Deshaun, so you at least want to salvage some of that, to see if you can either trade him or try to see what you got for the 27 draft. Because I feel like the story with Cleveland for the past 5 years at least has been quarterback. So when you have all these pieces, you want to at least make a run. I'm not saying they're going to get to the playoffs, but if they can win a couple of games and prove that, they got quarterback solidified, that kind of shores up what you can do in the 27 draft because you have all these picks. But if not, you can move on, but you need to know what you got at quarterback.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was just going to say real quick that I definitely agree with that for sure. I think obviously I've already said this before, but I think Deshaun's definitely going to start it off in training camp, and shoot, they might have to low key both of him and Sugar might have to play some preseason time as well, just to see what happens come week one in September, right? I think like I said, like you mentioned, they do have a lot of pieces. I remember you said something about Jerry Judy early, and I think that unfortunately his time in Cleveland's gonna come to an end soon, just because of the fact they didn't draft Casey Concepcion and they drafted Denzel Boston. So I mean, they drafted two receivers this year really high. So I don't know if Judy is. I know he's up for pay soon. I don't think he's gonna get paid in Cleveland. Um, so I think his time in Cleveland will come to an end. But because like I said, they got him younger out there. So they got rid of Njoku, like you said. Chubb has been gone, so they now running with Judkins at quarterback. I mean running back. So I think they'll wind up going with Shador as time progresses at quarterback, and I think they're just trying to start over as a team. I think they're going to be a kind of a changing of the guard. They got rid of their biggest piece, as you mentioned earlier, Miles Garrett. So I think that outside of having Denzel on the defensive side as a a main building piece on that defensive end, I don't know what's going to happen in Cleveland because you got all these young guys. I think they're still going to be losers, at the end of the day because it's Cleveland. But I think that there'll be a changing of the guard very soon. I think they'll give the old heads an opportunity, and I say old heads. These guys aren't that old, but they're old heads in Cleveland's eyes just because there's a new regime and stuff like that. So that would definitely be a big battle come training camp for them. What's going to happen? How does that defense look now with Miles gone? I know you said I know you said it's a closer step, but I don't know if it's that close between Jared Verse and Miles Garrett. I can't even disrespect Miles like that. I saw him wreck games by himself and was dominant for years in Cleveland. Um, I don't know if Jared Verse gonna have that same impact in Cleveland. I think he's a great player, but I think he was also in a crazy system out in LA. And I don't know if Cleveland's gonna have that same kind of defensive system set up for him to dominate in that same way. Um, so I don't know if he's gonna get paid in Cleveland either, to be honest with you, because I think part of the reason that Miles is gone, I mean, they're not paying him that kind of money. I just don't see them Jerry getting that kind of money. out of Cleveland. I could be wrong because once again, it is Cleveland, but I think after the Deshaun fiasco with them paying him a fully guaranteed contract with them, breaking the bank for Miles, I think they're kind of in a place right now where I don't know if they're going to pay Jared that kind of money. So, like I said, I think there will be a changing of the guard. They also drafted last year. Was a young boy they drafted out of
Mason
Michigan,
Graham.
Mason Graham. So I mean, like I said, they got young bulls there. I just don't know what the once again this is Cleveland's thing. I don't know what the identity is going to be. I think they got some pieces, but we'll see how things come together in this training camp, and that gives teams opportunity to kind of see what happens there. So,
And I think that's probably like where we are with Cleveland, though. It's like a wait and see type of game.
mm-hmm.
See who sticks.
Yeah,
Because I know Judy was in some trade talks last year, before the deadline about possibly getting moved. So we'll see. I definitely think they're going younger. But similar to what y'all were saying with the quarterback situation, like they got to figure out the offensive line situation too,
yeah.
because their offensive line was not that good. Gave up a lot of sacks the past 2 seasons. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they can figure something out with the offensive line. Have a little bit of protection for whoever the quarterback is going to be, whether it's Shador or D Watt. So
Yeah.
Well, I think hold on, because the only holdup with the trade was the Rams including Jared Verse because they didn't want to include him at 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that was the holdup, I don't think the Browns have any other options. So I definitely do think Jared is going to get paid for sure. Like I don't necessarily know if it's going to be a highest paid, but I think that Jared has all the leverage because you gave up probably your best asset in franchise history, and shout out Jim Brown, but you gave up your best asset, and you wouldn't do that to let Jared Verse walk. So I
right.
think he
Yeah,
definitely has
that's
leverage.
real. That's real. I definitely. I think he's gonna get paid. And you would think Cleveland, but I don't put it past Cleveland. That's all I'm saying. I don't put
Yeah,
it past Cleveland to not be Cleveland. That's all I'm saying with that.
They're not gonna let that man leave or
Yeah,
try.
I mean,
Yeah.
but we've seen crazy things happen in Cleveland.
Unless Buddy get hurt or something. If Buddy
We,
is out there balling,
yeah,
he's gonna get paid, bro.
yeah.
yeah. Does
If
Jared want to stay in Cleveland though? That's all. That's another thing.
that money
Like,
is up, that money is up for sure.
but see,
Especially if they talk highest paid.
that's when it, yeah, and I think that's where I'm getting this. I think that's where my not confusion. I think that's where my misunderstanding comes in. It's like, okay, you're in a struggle, right? Because you're gonna have to make him the highest paid for him to stay. Because let's be honest, when he talked about getting traded, he was like, I really wasn't expecting to come to Cleveland. Like he said this out of his own mouth. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like his desire, respectfully, is not to stay in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? So like they're gonna have to make the money talk, and it's like, okay, to make that money talk, you're gonna have to make him probably the highest paid. And do you want to spend that kind of bread again? I mean, it's a it's a thing. It's not the fact of is he worth the bread. I think he definitely is worth the bread. He's a baller. But we'll see. We'll see.
How do you think?
Cleveland.
How do you think Tom Link is going to translate into being a head coach?
That's gonna be another interesting thing to see as well. I mean, I think Tyler's a great OC. And he has had some pull before to become a head coach, and so I think offensively he has the pieces. I think he'll be able to create a scheme. I think defensively is where he'll have some trouble. That's why I think that it's good that they were able to sign Denzel back and trade for Jared Verse because I think we're gonna need that help there. But I think it's gonna be an adjustment period for him. 'Cause I don't even know who the DC is in Cleveland right now. 'Cause I'm pretty sure Jim is gone. I don't think Jim stayed with this regime as DC in Cleveland. So the
Mike
new defense,
Bradford.
yeah. Like I said, they lost their main guy in Miles Garrett, and that's gonna be I'm gonna skip past over what you said. That's gonna be the biggest thing when it comes to how do I replace Miles Garrett, right, and his production per se.
Don't they got the young linebacker too, the white boy?
Yeah, Carson
Yeah,
Swearingen.
yeah. Carson Swearinger tough. I like Carson Swearinger. Like I said, they got pieces, bro. I'm not saying their defense is still like they still have a lot of pieces, but Miles was the engine. You know what I'm saying? Like he made everything go. People were running into Denzel and Carson because they're running from Miles. So unless Jared can turn into Miles next year, they're gonna have some things that's gonna be interesting. Because I think that's what also I was saying too, Colin, with the Jared thing. Like Miles demanded a double and sometimes a triple team when he's coming off the edge. I think you can. respectfully, get away with a double team on Jared and be just fine. I don't know if he commands that same kind of fear that Miles does. So, and I think teams are going to try him easily this year, 1-on-1. Depending, especially in our division. I mean, they got to show us because we dealt with Miles, and so we're like, while we respect people who come in that way, I don't know if they're gonna have that same respect for that Miles got. So we'll see. Like I said, it's no disrespect to Jared, but we just know I think there'll be a slight drop off in production, respectfully.
How many games y'all think they're gonna win?
What's their schedule?
Yeah, let's run it through real quick. I can give you a quick prediction. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a caveat now. Cleveland's gonna be Cleveland. I'm gonna say that right now. Cleveland gonna be Cleveland. So
they got the Jaguars.
That's an L.
Loss.
Buccaneers.
Loss.
Well, hold on now. We gotta talk about them next because it depends. Some things are shifting down in Tampa, so we gotta talk about that. Huh?
Tampa.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Panthers at home.
They could beat Carolina. I'll
give them Carolina.
Steelers at home.
They beat the Steelers last year.
I was about to say that's a division game. They play them tough.
Thursday night.
Thursday in Cleveland.
Yep.
That's early on in the season too. Deshaun still be a quarterback probably at that point.
They got a shot.
Yeah.
I give them 2-2.
I give him that. Right, I give him that the first and second. They'll split Pittsburgh.
I get it Steelers that one. I think Michael Pittman and DK will get it done.
Okay.
Says the person who don't have a wide receiver. Shut up, boy.
Hey, shut up. Come on. Schedule reader. Come on.
Schedule reader for
at the Jets.
They'll win that game against the Jets. Jets suck.
At home versus the Ravens.
That's an L.
Oh.
On the road versus the Titans.
They win that game.
Well, that Titans defense ain't no joke. What week is this again?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
They might be on Shador by that point. It's in Tennessee.
Yep.
Ooh.
I'll give them Browns that one. I'll give them.
I'm gonna go Tennessee that game.
That'll be a good game. That'll be a good game for you.
That'll be middle. It'll be a straight middle.
That'll be a good game. They at the Steelers next.
They'll lose versus Steelers the second time.
Yeah.
At the Saints next. After that,
I got the Saints. At the Saints.
Yeah,
I got the Saints.
They should beat the Saints, bro. The Saints think I know.
Who they got on defense?
That's what I'm saying. Who the Saints got on defense? Nobody.
I mean, you still.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cleveland. I'm gonna take Cleveland that week, bro.
At home versus the Texans.
That's an L.
Yeah, that's an L.
At home versus the Raiders.
If Kirk's there, I got the Raiders. But
if Fernando's starting by the end,
Fernando's starting by the end is it's Cleveland. But if Kirk there, I'll take the Raiders with that too.
All right, they at home versus the Bengals.
That's a
loss.
L.
At home versus the Falcons.
Who the quarterback?
They'll still be Tua. Virginia. They'll ride out Tua for the rest of the season.
Unless he got a concussion or something.
That's what I asked who the quarterback was.
Bro, that joke was ridiculous, bro. I'll never forget that.
It's a wild guy right here. It's a wild guy, man.
Hey, I'm gonna go to Atlanta just because of that. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna have to say Atlanta.
That's your reasoning for That's crazy. They at the Giants December 20th.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
At the Ravens.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
At home versus the Colts.
The Colts should win that game, bro.
Yeah.
In theory.
Easy. Put it in the chat.
Huh?
He'll be back. He'll be back fully formed by that time.
Yeah, Dan Jones supposed to start. He supposed to start the season off.
Yeah, but he
And
probably
Alex should be back by that point too.
will win
So
that game.
we should win that game.
And then the Bengals on the road last
They'll
game.
lose that game too.
That's a loss.
Dang. So y'all said what? 1,
3
Y'all
and
said, y'all said they beat the Giants?
yeah,
Nah.
no.
No, they not.
No.
Dang. Y'all had them with like
Maybe
3
4
or 4 wins, bruh.
Maybe I'll give him 5. I'll give him a 5-win ceiling. 5-12 at max.
And they gonna win one, and it's gonna be like a crazy
Yeah, crazy. Like, oh snap! Cleveland won a game today. Yeah, that's one of those.
just like I think they beat the Packers last year. It was like what?
Yeah, I think they did beat the Packers. Like, you're right. I remember they beat Pittsburgh late in the season. It's just like some crazy
Hey,
stuff.
set up. Your mic.
Jack was sounding all muffled.
Yeah.
This man love lounging, bro. Like sit up.
A nigga can't lounge at his own house. Excuse me. Look. Yeah. I'm gonna lean back in my chair. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, I'm gonna lean back in my chair. I'm gonna do it again.
Filter on his audio, like come on, outer space, nigga.
My face is crazy.
Yeah, so I think 4 or 5 wins is probably the ceiling for the Browns.
Yeah,
No playoffs.
I agree with that. Nah, no playoffs for sure. Heck no.
Yeah, they know.
So I guess the question is, if they let's say they go 4 wins, miss the playoffs, and I think they got a couple of 27 picks, like high picks. What do you do with Shador? Like, do you just what do you do with a quarterback situation like Deshaun and Shador?
Clearly, they not getting it done.
So you just move off both of them?
Like you got to. You gonna run it back with the same quarterbacks again next year?
Not the same quarterbacks. No, Deshaun's done for sure. But I think Shador still stays. I mean, he's under contract for at least another year or two. I think that you can start looking for another quarterback though, for sure. Especially in this 27 class of quarterbacks coming out, you definitely want to take a look and see who's available. If you have a high pick, if someone's there that you can take, I'd take them for a young quarterback competition. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a change of the guard in Cleveland, bro. I don't think they getting these old heads out of here. So it's definitely gonna be a change of the guard. And Shador is gonna be on a short leash if he doesn't play well again this year. So
it wouldn't surprise me if he's not the starter next year.
Yeah, that's also true.
That's fair. Dang. So Deshaun would get cut, or he'd just get traded. Like if he doesn't play this year.
This is last year's contract.
I'm about to say how many more years he got on his contract?
So he's free agent. Okay.
Yeah. I told you it's the end of the road for him, bro. Like this is do or die, literally. Like,
Clemson U camps.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where
pretty much gonna be at the.
You can't get it back somewhere, bro. You can't go somewhere and try to compete.
Where?
I don't know. Kirk Cousins did it.
Kirk Cousins.
Atlanta. Go to Atlanta.
He can go to Atlanta. He can go to Atlanta. He can go to Miami.
Yeah.
There's teams he can go to now. I'm not saying it's definitely a team. He can go to New York. He can put the Jets. I mean, it's teams he can go to. Teams need quarterbacks. That's a fact. Cardinals. It's teams that need a quarterback. That's always gonna be true. It's always gonna be a quarterback open there somewhere.
Don't let somebody get hurt. Steelers.
Steelers ain't got no quarterback still to this day. So I mean, yeah, they already looking right now. I don't know what they got going on, but yeah. What are the headlines y'all got in y'all mind, man, that sticks out to y'all before I head?
What about the quarterback battle in Minnesota? They said they're still gonna be battling up to week 1. Like how do y'all feel going in that?
I think Collin should get it, me personally.
I agree.
That good. But Collin got to stay on the field too. So we gonna see. I feel like he got some good weapons out there with Addison, Hawkinson's still there, Jettas.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect opportunity for him to try to, redeem himself and show that he can still play at a decent to high level. Because if he loses his job, that's just a bad look in all honesty.
Yeah, the fact that it's still a battle is like
JJ not like that, bro. We saw what he did last year. He did not look great.
Dude,
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm
bad,
like
bro.
the fact that they still battling. Like if Kyler was what we think he is, there wouldn't be a battle this late into the offseason, in my opinion. Like the fact that we still talking about it is my
Yeah,
point.
but
Now,
I don't think you see too many teams give up on a first round pick that quick though. So I feel like you got to give them a, a little bone, you know, to say, hey, we're gonna make this a quarterback battle and see what he can do actually against, you know, other defenses in a real game type situation going into the season. So we'll see.
I think it looked like Cleveland where they give them a preseason game each. Just show them what you got, and we'll make a decision, like you said, before week one. I think Kyler will ultimately win out that job. I think that's the main reason he went to Minnesota. He wanted to win, and he wanted to start at quarterback. I think that's why he went there. So I think they'll give him an opportunity to do that. I just don't see a world where they say, yeah, we're gonna roll with JJ. Unless he has some kind of crazy preseason and crazy training camp, I just don't see a world where they have bought in Colin Murray and then say, yeah, you're gonna be the backup to JJ McCarthy. I don't see a world where that happens for Kyler, and I don't see a world where it happens for JJ. So do I think that this will be Kyler's forever home? Depends on how he does in the season, but I don't think he'll be sitting behind JJ McCarthy at any point in this season.
Bro, it's crazy because he could get like a crazy extension if he ball out, bro. Like I said, they got weapons there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like he can ball with them weapons that they got. That'll be a
Yep.
crazy turnaround to go from Arizona to Minnesota with these weapons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a
That's
better
true, bro.
coach.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he's still fairly young, ain't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's 30 yet.
yeah. I don't think he's 30 yet.
Yes, I don't think he's 30 yet. So I mean, yeah, he definitely still has an opportunity to get some more bread, bro. I think that he'll be do some bread if he has a good season.
He'll
And then
be
like y'all mentioned, Minnesota's the place to do it. Defensively, got a good defense, solid, and offensively, he just got to make the throws. So
he'll be
it's
29 next week.
29 next week. Okay, yeah, it's on him. It's on him whether he gets paid or not. It's on him. So
Hmm.
same with Deshaun. Your career rides on you, buddy. This could be your last hurrah as a starting quarterback in the league. Y'all understand? We know how short the NFL shelf life is, and how short of a leash average quarterbacks are getting given. Elite, if you're an elite quarterback, which we'll get into that soon here, but if you're an elite quarterback, you get time. But as an average quarterback, and it's crazy looking back real quick. Speaking of Deshaun, his fall from grace, because at one point, he was looked at as the top quarterback in the league when he's in Houston, right? And then he gets traded, and he gets traded. He gets traded for real, traded out of people's mindsets. He never really replenishes his career and refurbishes it in Cleveland. So it's been very much great value in Cleveland, which is on brand for Cleveland. So maybe he does need another change of scenery again. I don't think that Cleveland has worked out the way that he thought it was going to work out, or obviously the Browns don't think it worked out the way they thought it was going to work out either, or else they would not have paid him, what they paid him. So yeah, there was some interesting training camp battles at quarterback for some of these teams. I'm trying to think, is there any other
Hey,
quarterback
hey, Colin, how you feeling about Daniel Jones coming back this year?
and
I
AR?
mean,
Yeah, and AR. Yeah, I forgot about
They,
him.
they got a quarterback battle again.
And Riley Leonard. They got a 3-headed monster. It's scary out there, boy.
Undo. Ooh.
all right, we done the disrespect. All right. I think he's coming back too fast. Like the fact that he tore his Achilles, and then they say he's going to be ready for training camp. He still needs to sit out. I feel like they're trying to make the most out of giving him that huge contract this offseason. But I feel like we saw the ceiling with Daniel Jones last season, and I think everything worked in our favor, including the schedule. This season is really a do or die for our roster because I think a lot of our core guys are just getting older. Jonathan Taylor, DeForest Buckner, even Quentin Nelson. There's probably closer to a decade now. And I feel like you're going to have to start, moving away from some of those guys just because we made one of the worst trades getting Sauce Gardner for those two first-round picks. So now that we're not going to be good, all of our rewards go to the Jets. So I feel like in terms of getting some immediate assets, we probably gonna have to move off of one of those guys. Unfortunately, still got some young talent. Obviously, our money is invested in Alec Pierce, so he's gonna be the future moving forward. So he's on the pup list, but I think he's gonna be back, closer to the middle of the season. And you still got Josh Downs. You traded for not traded for, but we drafted C.J. Allen from Georgia, so hopefully he fills the gap with Zaire Franklin. The question for us is really going to be in the secondary. That's where our biggest hole is, outside of quarterback. And unfortunately, in our division, you got like a Liam Cohen. Even if CJ bounces back, and Cam Ward, you still got some tough quarterbacks that we're going to go up against. So I don't have faith in us going into the season, especially like with our division, just because I think the Texans are just too good defensively in order to like compete. But I think in the future we're just gonna have to start moving off some guys to have some hope that in this draft and the next.
Yeah.
I was looking at y'all schedule, but y'all schedule look kind of tough, boy. Especially in the first one.
Because we were one of the top teams last season, so we got a first place schedule, closer to a first place schedule with no record from last season. Like,
yeah, y'all started the season with the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Texans, then the Commanders. Then it get a little easy. Y'all got the Steelers, the Titans, the Vikings.
Those aren't easier.
That might be an L, Hundo.
Hey, that's easier than the first 3 or 4 games.
Yeah,
that's true. They're gonna lose them, but it's
Yeah, y'all got a tough little schedule, boy. Eagles on here, Bengals, Jaguars twice in the division.
7 and 10ish, real 7 and 10ish.
No, I give us like 4 or 5 wins, bro. Like, we don't even know what Daniel Jones coming back looks like.
That's also true.
So
I don't still trust Daniel Jones. I think I paid him $100 million, but I don't trust Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we're not the worst in the division, or worse in the NFL, because I don't want the Jets to get a high pick, but I don't see us winning.
Oh, they getting a high pick.
No, I'm talking about from our pick. Like, I don't want to.
I was talking about that too.
It should probably be a top 10 pick. Sure. It'll be a top 10 pick.
It's going to be a top 10 pick. They're going to have 2 top 10 picks for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a top 10 pick.
Thanks, Indy.
Yeah, I mean,
we saw so bad, Hundo.
Hey, they thought Buddy was Stingley.
Word.
We need Sauce. We got to get him.
Yeah, that was a terrible trade. Especially like out of that bunch, I would have been pleased if we would have gotten Quentin Williams, because I feel like, as we're talking about the Cowboys, I feel like the Cowboys are in a better position, because if you're going to invest that much capital, I believe you should invest it in the trenches. But Sauce, he's a very physical cornerback, and so he's getting a lot of PIs and getting burnt a lot. So I feel like in terms of where he was, the hype when he got drafted to now, I just don't think it's slowly declining. So yeah,
that's true, bro. That's true. We did not mention him at all in those top 10 corners we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
that is true. I still think he's a good corner, but like, I don't know.
But for 2 first, two first is like
2 first is a lot.
Stingley.
Yeah, 2 first is definitely Stingley for sure. So I don't know, man. I think y'all be fighting Tennessee for worse in the division for sure. For sure. Which is crazy. It's crazy to say, but it's true. Yeah. Interesting training camp, y'all. Like I said, I think Alec Pierce being hurt still. Who's wide receiver 1?
Probably gonna be Josh Downs now.
That's Josh Downs, who was talking crazy about he was gonna be like that this year.
That's what he said.
Oh yeah. I remember he said something about the Ravens, like him. I think him and his brother have like a podcast. Him and
yeah.
And he was just saying like, oh yeah, like I ain't worried about the Chiefs, the Ravens, da. Like we was like, well, no,
Gotcha.
See you soon, bud. Can't wait to see how he act come week 1 and 2, man. Because he was talking real spice on that podcast. I ain't forget. So if you wide receiver 1, oh boy, long day.
It's Josh Downs, then you get into like a Ashton Doolin, and then Tyler Warren's probably a 3rd, like theoretically.
I like Tyler Warren. I like Tyler Murray. So
Tyler
we'll see, bro.
on his Trey McBride this season. It's all good.
Yo, well,
At least y'all got a weapon. Y'all
Yeah.
still got JT, ain't it?
Yeah, he's still back
Run
there.
him to the ground.
He getting paid to be running to the ground. That's true. He getting paid for it.
Y'all think Anthony Richardson done?
I just don't know. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say if Malik Willis had opportunity based off of what he did. You know, people write him off, they wrote him off in Tennessee. Then he went to, Green Bay, sat behind Jordan, got an opportunity to play and play decent, and played himself into a brand new contract in Miami. A similar conversation could be had for AR, who is, in my personal opinion, more athletic than Malik Willis, and a better thrower of the football than Malik Willis. I think that he could have a similar trajectory where he could go somewhere like LA, the Rams, right? Not sit behind what's the guy they drafted? Not sit behind him, but just learning from Sean McVay, talking to a quarterback whisperer, right? And LA may not be his final destination, but he could go somewhere like New York and have an opportunity to play again. I mean, I think he's definitely young enough that he has an opportunity to kind of sit, learn, and either be a career backup or get an opportunity to start in New York or Arizona. Like I said, this team's gonna need a quarterback. So I don't think it's over for him. Maybe over for him in Indy, but not in the NFL. Not yet.
I just don't think he's a quarterback, bro. Like, unfortunately, I think his time's almost up. His watch is almost ended. I feel like for him,
Watch almost ended.
His watch is almost ended. Yo, cut the lights off.
Cancel Christmas, huh?
cut his water off.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like we can keep playing the whole backup quarterback game, but I feel like he's just honestly just transition. Yeah, he's not a quarterback.
Do you think you need a tight end or something?
I'm not trying to get Buddy out the league, but I just feel like a transition this late wouldn't make sense. I just think you just got to be honest about what he is, bro. Like, we get caught up with the flashy plays, but he can't make the basic reads. And I feel like as a quarterback, the fact that Daniel Jones came in and it wasn't even a battle, that should tell you something. And I think Riley Leonard probably is closer to our two. I think the only reason he would play or start is because they're just trying to show him off to trade him, because that Chris Ballard said that trade request hadn't gone away. Like, it's still on the block. I just feel like you just got to be honest. I don't think his market is that high in terms of what we would actually trade him for. So, unfortunately, I just think it was one of those projects that just didn't work out. So, hopefully, Buddy transitions.
Another interesting training camp, bro. Let me ask you about this, man. I got to go to Tampa because news came out that Mr. Vita Vea wants out in Tampa Bay, which I think at the starting training camp, puts a big damper in Tampa Bay. I think they had already lost, Mike Evans, one of their stalwarts, one of their, cornerstone pieces on the team. Baker wants to get paid, so there's some controversy and some things happening there. And now one of your defensive stalwarts, once again, cornerstone pieces, Mr. Vita Vea, is saying, I want out. In that division, who I historically have said is probably the worst division in football, the NFC South.
I'm going to go early for Steph, but my guards are done. My guards are done.
For sure. Twigga. But yeah, I think notoriously with, the
Bucks
probably wanted, facts. Being one of the worst divisions in football, what does that say about, the Bucks as they enter into this training camp? How much of a distraction will that be? They just drafted, Reuben Bain Jr. out of Miami. He goes off the edge. Is he going to get traded? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been speculation. There's been talks of him potentially trying to get to LA to play for the Rams. There's a lot of moving pieces out there. And so kind of as a team that, was looked at as one of the top teams in that division, I know, like I said, they are all sorry. But how does that affect them, which is going into training camp with that piece of information?
Yeah, I think Vita Vea is still nice. I mean, as a nose tackle, nobody's stopping Vita Vea at this age. So I feel like he's a quality piece. I just feel like for the Bucks, they just probably didn't want to give him a new contract, especially at this age. But I feel like it's really a change in of the guard with the Bucks because you're kind of losing all your veteran pieces. You lost Mike Evans, you're losing Vita Vea. So offensively and defensively, you lost your pillars. And with this Baker information, like if he's just going to play out the contract, do you bring Baker back, especially if they're not like contenders? I think he does get traded. In terms of the Rams, I just don't know if the Rams are actually going to make the move because Sean McVay said on a interview, or he got questioned about it. He said they're good with their current unit. So I could see him going to a place like Las Vegas. I could see him going to like the Giants, who just got rid of Dexter Lawrence. I don't know. I'm trying to think of defensive guys that need help on the defensive tackle. And obviously, you could keep them and somebody gets injured. They definitely can make a move for Vita Vea closer to the trade deadline. But I just really feel like for Tampa, I kind of get it because after you wouldn't let Mike Evans walk if you still felt like you were right there in terms of being like contenders. So I just feel like they're trying to change everything, especially with, Baker in this upcoming contract situation.
True. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think they're in an interesting spot because, like you said, John, like the division isn't that great. So, like, even though they did let Mike Evans go, like, if you can win a division and get in the playoff, you still got a shot. So maybe they just thought that they could get by without Mike Evans. Maybe, I don't know. But like Cal said, definitely getting younger. Drafting Ruben Bain. So we'll see. Baker Mayfield still got this year on his contract to play out. I think that's going to be a bigger conversation, more than them possibly trading Vita Vea. So we'll see, but I think they're still in a good spot in that division.
Yeah.
Do you think that like would Chris Godwin be the one, or is it going to be Emeka Ibuka?
Mecca. Easily.
Yeah, I think they'll transition to Mecca, let Chris get to.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy.
That's true, and I think that's the main reason that Mecca stays the one because he has been healthy. So, yeah, I think he's easily going out there in Tampa now. Then they got somebody else too. I feel like I seen them do something.
Oh, they got McMillan, Jalen McMillan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think they got a couple pieces out there for Baker. Once they pay him, they lost Bucky Irving.
Bucky's still there.
Rashad White.
Yeah, they lost Rashad White, but they kept Bucky.
Okay. Say no more. Yeah, I knew they lost one of them. Okay, cool. So I mean, they still got a couple pieces out there. I said it helps them. I mean, it's cool because the NFC South sucks. They're bad to me. I'm gonna keep saying that, and y'all can put me on the clip. I don't care. I'm going on record as saying that the NFC South will be the worst division in football again this year. I don't have any faith. I remember saying this on the podcast. I went back and watched some clips on TikTok. I said that no team from the NFC South will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Now I think that was about a year, almost 2 years ago now. So we got about 4 years left on that deal that I made to the pod. And I'm feeling pretty good about it actually right now.
It was crazy because Tampa Bay was probably the closest. Now we talking about them possibly, turning it around, transitioning, and we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know who's going to win the division this year. I really don't. I don't think the Panthers win it again. The Bucks could win it in theory, but the Saints can win it, and then the Falcons can win it. I mean, it's just they could have a mid off again. I mean, you had 3 teams that were 8 and 9 last year, and one of them had to win the division. So I mean, they really do have another mid off again this year. My personal opinion. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the Saints could shock that division. I just don't trust what I see with the Panthers. Like I know they're gonna talk about, oh, we almost beat the Rams last season, playoff. Like I get it. I just think that was fool's gold. That I just don't trust Tua or Kevin Stefanski with the Falcons. I feel like the Falcons are kind of one of those teams where they win a couple games early in the season and kind of fade off. I feel like the same thing's gonna happen this season. But for the Bucks were setting the standard for the last 3 years, 4 years at least. And so now it's just like, I think you're just going to have a revolving door in the NFC South. And it's just crazy because, like, growing up, like, past the Cam years, I feel like this has been the case for the NFC South. And it's just like, what do they need in order to get to be one of those premier divisions? You've gotten sorry teams, so you've had high draft picks. They've just kind of failed in the GM spots.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna definitely be interesting.
I don't
Um,
trust the Saints, me personally, but we'll see.
yeah, I don't trust Tyler Shuck. Is that his name? I don't trust him at quarterback.
So,
I know y'all got. I know Collin has faith in him, but I don't have no faith in that young bull for sure. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I like their running back room, but I mean, other than that,
Yeah, yeah, they did.
added
Lamar
Travis,
came
they
back.
got Alvin Kamara still. So
Mhm.
that'll be a
Uh,
tough two-headed monster.
I think Chris Olave's back. I think he'll
yep.
be able to kind of be solid for them.
They drafted the dude from Arizona State, Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, Jordan Tyson. Yeah, so
So
I mean,
hopefully,
I think that's
yeah.
pieces. I think Tyler's just not the answer there, bro. I think they'll be in that 27 sweepstakes. I think be part of that 27 sweepstakes looking for another quarterback, personally, or like we've been talking about quarterbacks all day, Deshaun, Collar. I mean, somebody could get that job in New Orleans and be set up for success early. So I just don't know if Tyler's the answer there, but he could prove me wrong. Could prove me wrong. We'll see. We'll see. Oh man.
Who'd you have winning the NFC South?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think they're all equally bad. So
I'm gonna go Carolina. I'm gonna go Carolina. Give me the Panthers.
if I had to pick a team today, I'm picking Atlanta, and I hate doing that because I don't trust Tua. But I think that they have the best roster in that division, personally, defensively and offensively. I think they're the best weapons. You got Drake London, Kyle Pitts got paid this offseason. I mean, defensively, still got both of them young bulls out there. They got Javon, and they got other buddy that was arrested and came back. So I mean,
The
um,
abuser.
so, hey, he back. He on the field. He practicing. So if you gonna be on the field this year, them boys gonna be good. They're gonna be solid off the edge. They still have Jesse Bates back there at safety. He's still one of the top safeties in football. They got both of the Terrells out there at corner, AJ and Avion. So I mean, I think they got the best roster in that division, personally. So I'm gonna take Atlanta if I had to pick a team.
Talk about, hold on. Man. You said the abuser.
Word.
Funny nickname.
Yeah, that's his nickname, the abuser.
They abusing.
They're putting his hands on people.
Look, in a regular context, that could be crazy as like an edge name, but not in the context that Hunter's talking about it in. not in that
James,
context.
the abuser Pierce. Coming off the edge. 10 sacks this season.
10 sacks. Hey, he could be due for a 10-sack season. No cap.
Yeah, I want to say he had a good bit last year, bro.
He did, bro.
He got all
Him and other buddy gonna be good, bro, off the edge. I'm telling you.
Didn't he win defensive rookie of the year or something?
I don't know if he's that good now.
I think.
I swore he got an award, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got like all Pro votes, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro, I think he got defensive rookie of the year last year, bro.
Yeah, because remember his mom was at
His
the
mom was making a speech, bro.
yeah.
Oh, maybe he did. Look it up. Show me something.
Look now.
Yeah, he did. Well, he was named a finalist.
Oh, I'm gonna say he win. Who
Oh
won
no,
that?
Carson won. Let's see.
Here we go. That tracks.
James Pierce finished third.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me see what he did last year. How many sacks he had last year? Yeah, 10 and a half last year. Stop playing with.
The abuser.
10 and a half as a rookie. That ain't bad, bro. Three games started.
Oh, he did that only 3 games?
That he started.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. If he did that junk in 3 games played, boy, you a beast.
The abuser.
You abuser for real, boy. Oh man. Yeah, we'll see. I feel it. I feel like their biggest question mark is going to be quarterback. So, I mean, if Tua can do something, he got the weapons. He got Bijan, Drake, Kyle Pitts. So, we'll see.
Definitely got the pieces.
Just got to stay on the field. Where y'all want to transition to next? Y'all want to talk about these hot seat quarterbacks or the elite list?
Let's end off with the quarterbacks. I mean, let's end off with the quarterbacks with the hot seat. Let's talk about Collins' elite list, bro. It's caught a lot of flack and a lot of buzz on social media. Um, Colin has had an elite list of quarterbacks that he's mentioned, and we just want to jump straight to the last ones. Everybody else wasn't in question. The questionable person that was on this list was Justin Herbert, the quarterback for the LA Chargers. And it seemed as if in our chat, the only people that was on Colin's side with this was a Chargers fan, which tracks that Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback in the NFL. Y'all obviously know my answer is no. I don't think he's an elite quarterback in the NFL. But I'm gonna give Colin opportunities to state his case. I think he's been jumped on a lot in the media from fans kind of laughing at him and asking why he would even put Justin Herbert in an elite category. But I need to put some caveat and some disclaimer in here. Whenever you begin to dive into this, I need you to define your eliteness, which I think is different from other eliteness definitions. So I just want to get a clear definition of what eliteness means in Colin Edwards' perspective, just to give the viewers and me an understanding of why do you think that Justin Herbert is fits into that category with the likes of a Patrick, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, and a Joe Burrow as well. So give me your definition and tell me why you think he's elite.
So I think there's three different branches that I want to use to form my argument. I feel like, first of all, the historic production. I feel you can't call a player just average when they start their career with basically unprecedented numbers. At his rookie season, he set the NFL record for passing touchdowns of 31, and I forgot how many total touchdowns he had, but he set the record for that as well. And he's the fastest quarterback in NFL history to get 1,500 completions. And I think if you look at the roster, what I was trying to tell you guys in the chat, the rosters that he had was nothing comparable to any of the elite quarterbacks that I mentioned on the list. But he's been able to take that roster to the playoffs. Now, granted, I can hear every argument of when he gets to the playoffs, there definitely is another Justin Herbert that I feel like needs to be addressed, but I don't think that affects him being elite. I feel like if you look at just the rare physical traits, he has an elite arm. He's able to fit passes in tight windows, throw dots, and at 6'6", 236, like the stuff that he's able to do with the lack of offensive line help that he's had over the past couple of seasons, he's been able to extend plays, extend drives, and he's been able to put the Chargers in winning positions, especially in the regular season. And I think, honestly, if you look at just the volatility he's had on the coaching rosters, he's had some very terrible coaches. He's had Anthony Lynn, Brandon, I forgot his last name, and Jim Harbaugh obviously is a proven coach, but he just got him. And I think that injuries last year with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, he still was able to go to the playoffs. And I think that with a fully healthy roster, and if he can just get a little bit of production on the outside, I think that he'll be in the conversations with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar. I think when we talk about the elite of the elite, I definitely put those three up there. Matthew Stafford deserves a seat at the table, but I feel like age is a big component. But I feel like rounding out that list, Justin Herbert at least deserves the conversation. And I think he's definitely in there. I feel like the no rings and no wins, like, yeah, there's some quarterbacks on that elite list who have wins in the playoffs, but they haven't been able to get it done. And I feel like we have used other regular season benchmarks in order to define their eliteness. I feel like you got to do the same thing with Justin Herbert. And I feel like moving forward, if I want a quarterback, I feel like there's about 25 other teams that would call instantly if Justin Herbert was on the table. And I feel like that even with the Eagles, like I said, the Eagles call the Chargers tomorrow and say, hey, we're going to give you a clean swap for Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert. He will be in that green and white by morning. So I think you could do that with a number of different teams. And if you can do that, I feel like that should be a benchmark in terms of how I define you as an elite quarterback. Granted, look at the stats. That's one thing. You look at the record. That's another thing. But I feel like once it is paired together, definitely is going to be stamped in terms of top five.
Okay, that was cute, bro. That's real cute. I hear your argument, and I raise you this. So for me, man, when I think of eliteness on a quarterback, I think of this. When DCs go to sleep at night, they have to wake up and say, I gotta figure out a way to stop this man on Sunday. I personally and respectfully, as I've mentioned before, like I said, with my elite quarterback list, I had, like I said, Patrick, Lamar, Josh, and Joe is in there. But even Joe is like, we can figure out some ways to scheme. I don't know if I'm a DC in NFL, and I would look at the elite defenses. I'll look at Seattle. I'll look at Denver. I'll look at Houston. I don't know if those DCs are. I don't know if D'Amico Ryans. I don't know if Mike out there in Seattle. I don't know if DC is out there in Denver, but I don't know if they're going to sleep or going to practice on Wednesday, Thursday, and saying we got to figure out a way to stop Justin Herbert from beating us. I don't know if teams come into games with that mentality when they play LA. I think that once again, I think that Justin's a phenomenal quarterback. Do I think he's top 10? Easily. Easily. But I'm looking at that elite list. I'm looking at guys who, yes, I mean, you can look at regular season numbers, and I think you can put a lot of quarterbacks. If we're just looking at regular season benchmarks, you can put a lot of quarterbacks into a very good quarterback thing. But I'm thinking about elites, like we talk, like you, and I'll give you this. We talked about wanting to put an inner hall in the Hall of Fame, right? For guys who are just top of the top, really just those kind of guys. And they shouldn't necessarily have the same hall as some of these guys who are in the hall because I set the tone and I wrote the blueprint and I wrote the story of the NFL, and you couldn't tell it without them. I think the guys that I mentioned to you, Patrick, Lamar, Josh, I think that they'll be in that timeline of quarterbacks when we talk about the story of the NFL in 15, 20 years. With Justin's current trajectory, I don't know if he'll be a part of that story. I think he'll be one of the guys. Like he was a good quarterback in that era, but I don't think he's going to be a part of that. When you think about, dang, you're telling your kids, yeah, I remember watching Josh Allen. I remember watching Lamar Jackson. I don't think you're telling your kids, I remember watching Justin Herbert. Right now, I don't feel like that's the case for him. Now, do I think that he could have that type of? Now, you mentioned this because I personally have put Matthew Stafford into this elite category because in his older age, he's been more dominant. LA won a Super Bowl, been in contention for. I mean, teams are having to worry about Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? In LA, right? And I've said this in the chat, but I'll say it here as well. I think that Justin could benefit from a change of scenery and have that kind of same effect later on. But as of right now, today, if you ask me on July 28th, 2026, do I think that Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback in the NFL? I don't think that I can say that and be authentic about it.
So I think to answer that, I think that Matthew Stafford didn't change who he was as a quarterback from the time he was at the Lions to the Rams. He's always been cold in terms of being a quarterback. But I feel like the dysfunction of the Lions, it overshadowed his eliteness. And I think the same thing with Justin Herbert. I think that you're starting to see now a competent coach and GM build out that roster. But early in Justin's career, he was doing way more with a lot less than a lot of these guys in the bubble. So what I'm saying now, I think you're going to start to see the fruit with Jim Harbaugh because I think he's a good coach and hopefully they get healthy. But, me and you, and I'm sure Hundo said the same thing about Quentin Johnson when he came out of the league. He was like, he was not going to be a wide receiver one. I feel like Lad McConkey is the one. And, he has other pieces. Like, obviously, Jim Harbaugh is run first with Amarion Hampton, Najee Harris. But I feel like in terms of being the chain being let loose, like him being able to go and cook, like he hasn't had the weapons to go and do that. I think you can say any other quarterback on that list has had that opportunity. So I feel like if he starts to get a better roster and gets put in better situations by his coach, I think you will see that. And I think that's going to happen this year with Mike McDaniel. I think the Chargers are going to be one of those surprise teams. But also, too, in terms of the elite conversations, we were calling Drew Brees elite, and he went 3 straight seasons going 7-9. That didn't change him being elite. Like, people still trusted him and Sean Payton, but they still had a bad record. So that doesn't change, like, who you are as a quarterback. I think you can just be put in some you know, unfortunate conversations. I do agree with you in terms of the story. Like if it still remains the status quo, he can definitely get lost in transition because he hasn't had any crucial NFL moments. But I feel like at best, if he stays in this situation, he'll be Phillip Rivers. And I feel like Phillip Rivers was a decent quarterback. You could argue elite. He's probably more above average to me. But I feel like if that's the floor, I can't imagine what he looks like with competent leadership, even if he does change scenery with a better roster. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go through every other quarterback in the league outside of Lamar, Pat, and maybe Joe and Josh, every GM's making that call or thinking about it to get Justin Herbert. And I feel like that in itself is a tale about who they think he is a quarter in terms of being a quarterback. And so there's some guys who are in that above average, slightly elite that they would trade for Justin Herbert in a minute. And I think that contributes to who you are in terms of your rankings.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that fact at all. I definitely think that he's a top quarterback in this league. But like I said, for me, I think we just kind of throw around that elite word too loosely for me. That's all I'm saying. I think yeah, you can put him at very good for sure. But elite, when I think about that word, I'm thinking like creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like that guy for real. And I right now can't put him in that kind of category. With I don't know if he's had a season where he was up for MVP, like even in the running, and he's been in the league a long time. So I mean, for that to be the case, I just can't. For that alone, I can't even put him in the elite category. Like you can't even be in the conversation for MVP, best in the league. You know what I'm saying? Based regardless of your roster, because that's been your main running point with me about Josh Allen. He's had no roster and still been able to do it. Like if that's the excuse, like we gotta be consistent with the fact of okay, yeah, if you're gonna do more or less, do more or less, and show me and be in the MVP conversation with it. Like that's for me. Like give me that eliteness with that way. So that's why I'm like I can't really give him that right now.
And one more thing, I'm gonna let you go, Hunter. But one more thing, I'm probably gonna get crucified for this, but I think only Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson could do more with that Chargers roster that he's had early in the season, like his first couple of years. I think even if you put Joe Burrow there, even if you put Patrick Mahomes there, I think they would definitely have flashes of greatness, but they would probably have the same outcome as Justin Herbert. I think if you put Justin Herbert in that Andy Reid offense, Justin Herbert would definitely be a lot better than he is right now. So in terms of franchise changers, like I don't care what roster, it's only Josh and Lamar, like at prime. I feel like all the other guys that we call in the league, the Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, they're predicated on situations. Even Justin Herbert is predicated on situations. So I agree with you. I think that Josh and Lamar are the only separation between the other guys. And I don't know what you would call that, but I still consider all of them elite.
I hear it. I hear it. And like I said, I definitely agree with that. With a change of scenery, easily, I think you could, I'm not gonna say easily. I think he'll have a much better argument for being in that elite category if he wasn't in LA. But I think, unfortunately, I mean, he's accepted the contract there, which I mean, who wouldn't take the contract? You mean he gonna take the money, right? Um, but with that has come, bad rosters and bad leadership and bad coaching and all the other things. That personnel, I mean, it's just kind of a running bad, sentence. But with a change, I could see him going crazy and like if I flipped him for Brock Purdy in San Fran, my goodness, like back when they had like a healthy Debo and Brandon Ayuk, and when they first got Christian McCaffrey, like they were crazy with Jay Herbert back there for sure in that offense and with the defense that they had, right? Um, I mean, I think if I send him to Green Bay with a healthy, Micah Parsons, like he could go crazy there. If I send him to Minnesota, I'm not discrediting, Justin Herbert as a quarterback. I just that elite word. I think right now with his current status, where he's at in his career, and with what he's done up until this point, I don't know if I can give him that word. And not to say once again, I definitely agree with you that a lot of teams would call immediately and say, "Hey, I give you my kid for Justin Herbert." You know what I'm saying, to put him in my team's jersey tomorrow. I think that there are a lot of people that would say that for sure. Um, but yeah, yeah. And the good thing for Herbo is he's like 27, 28, I want to say. So I mean, he's still young enough to change that narrative. I think he still has some time. He still, this season could be a big, point for him to change that, right? I mean, they beat the Chiefs last year. I don't. They beat y'all last year, though. In Denver?
Uh, yeah, they beat us. We
So I mean,
split with them.
yeah, I mean, there's still time for him to write his own narrative this year, right? With like you said, with Jim coming, I think him and Jim have a great relationship. Jim was a good, decent quarterback in the league. I think he has the opportunity to help grow, Justin some more, and make him too potentially be elite. I think that there's still time. I'm not saying this is just going forever, but he's never going to be elite. I'm not saying that at all. But yeah, as of right now, he got to show me some more work. That's all. Any thoughts on though?
Yeah, great regular season quarterback. He's definitely made some plays in the regular season. Specifically versus us last year,
Yeah,
made some crazy plays when he beat us.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, you gotta show me something in the postseason too, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest thing. You can't fold when the lights are brightest.
Facts.
You gotta show up and show out, continue the ball. But to your point, Colin, like he hasn't had a great offensive roster, especially specifically at wide receiver. Like he had what's his name, Keenan Allen. I was about to call him Mike Allen for some reason, but Keenan Allen
Yeah.
a few years ago, and now they got Lad and QJ. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. Hopefully Mike McDaniel can change it for him and get him over the hump. Um, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Let's do our last transition, man. We wanted to talk about, while we're speaking on quarterbacks who are, entering into this season on the hot seat. And guys who may have their jobs on the line, or things may be switching. There may be a shifting of the guard per se, right? For certain teams, if these quarterbacks do not get the job done. So I know we have a list of quarterbacks, and we can kind of just run through it and tell me: do you think that, one, are they on the hot seat? Do you agree with that? And then two, do you think that if they don't get the job done this season with their team, or reach their goals or expectations with their team, will this be the last season for them, or the team, decide to move on? So, I got two guys in front of me. So we'll start here. Let's start with Baker, out in Tampa. Do y'all believe he's on the hot seat in Tampa? And if he does not meet the goals of winning that division this year in the NFC South, and potentially winning a playoff game, does he, one, get paid, and two, is this his last season in Tampa?
I don't think he's on a hot seat in terms of like being out the league, but like I do think he's on a hot seat in terms of being the Bucks franchise quarterback. I think if they miss the playoffs again, they don't give him the contract and he has to move on. And I feel like in terms of the teams out there, I think there is a team that will pick him up as a franchise quarterback, but he'll kind of be on that Sam Darnold trajectory again, rather than being solidified as a starting quarterback for a franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like similar to what I said about the Panthers, like Tampa Bay could very well win this division. If he wins the division and can get a wild card win, I assume they'll be in the wild card. He can get a wild card win. I don't think he's gone. I think he'll get paid. But even if they don't decide to pay him, like Colin said, I think somebody else will pay him. I definitely see him as like a Kirk Cousins type quarterback. I feel like he can go get another bag somewhere else.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely agree with y'all there. Baker got to be. Lamar came in the league at the same time, so he's about 29, 30 now. So he's due for maybe one more contract, I'd say, for sure, before people call it quits on him, or at least he starts moving to that backup role. So I think this is his last opportunity in Tampa to play for that contract, and if he plays well, I think Tampa will pay him, because I think he's been consistent with them. I think he's already gotten one contract out of Tampa, so I think he just kind of wants more money right now. I think it's a situation. So if he does his job, obviously it's not in the hot seat. But if he doesn't do his job, I could easily see him going somewhere next year and trying to, once again revitalize his career. So I definitely agree with y'all on that. Staying in that same division, looking at former number one overall pick, once again another former one overall pick in Bryce Young, with the Carolina Panthers. He took the Panthers to the playoffs last year, winning that division. Now I will put a caveat out there, and I know I'm gonna get some flight for this, and say I'm a hater, but the caveat is that there was a three-way tie in this division, with them being 8-9, and they made it off the skin of their teeth, into that wild card round to play the Rams. So if the Panthers regress, which I personally, and I've said this before to Panthers fans and my brother-in-law, my cousins, and others who are around me, if they do regress this year, and he is a part of that regression, I'm gonna say yes, he's on the hot seat. What do y'all say?
Yeah, I definitely think he's on the hot seat this year. I think he's an undersized quarterback who they went into the 5th-year option in order to pay him. Usually, first picks, you see people getting signed way before he did. So I think that even the Panthers are trying to see what they have in the quarterback. Took him to the playoffs last year. So I think he's definitely capable, but I just feel like the Panthers don't really believe in him. And I personally don't see it in terms of NFL quarterback. But yeah, I think this is a do or die for them. If either they don't make the playoffs this year, I definitely see them moving on from him.
Yeah, and you hate to see that, in all honesty, because like
Thanks.
I feel like Buddy got some talent. I mean, yes, he's undersized, but like Buddy hold it down.
Yeah.
They got to make the playoffs. They got to make the playoffs, and then he got to look decent in the playoffs, in order to keep his job, keep his spot. I think he'll be able to do it. I think he'll be able to do it. I think he'll hold it down and he'll be back. I think he'll get an extension, get a long-term deal in Carolina.
I agree with that. Now let me ask y'all this though. If the situation is he plays well, but the team itself is just not good enough to win the division, does he still get paid? Like let's just say he has a solid season. And
What's a solid season though?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look at his numbers real quick from last year. Let's see what you do last year, Bryce.
He had 3,011 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 picks.
All right, let's say he has 7 more touchdowns. Let's go 30 touchdowns, 3,500 yards, and let's go 8 picks. But they just they
he getting that extension.
Yes, it's a pretty good year.
Hey, that ain't bad. Hey, that ain't bad for real.
But they don't make the playoffs though. They still lose those games.
Yeah, he'll still be because
I got mine.
I don't think he'll get elite quarterback money, but he'll get a nice contract.
He'll get a contract. Yeah, I agree with that now. And I've had this conversation before with Panther fans as well. My brother-in-law was talking to him. I said, I think if Bryce is not the reason that y'all are losing, I think he still gets paid. I think they're looking for a scapegoat in Carolina why they're not going to be winning. But if Bryce is not the reason, then I think that they could still pay him. I mean, we've seen quarterbacks have crazy numbers. Look at Joe Burrow. Crazy numbers a couple years ago, and the Bengals were just sorry. You know what I'm saying? They just couldn't win a game. So I think that a similar thing could happen in Carolina where, Bryce could be solid. You know what I'm saying? And they just can't get it done as a team. So, yeah, I definitely see a world where he's on the hot seat currently, but if he has a decent season, then he could still get paid for sure.
Hey, real quick, before you go to the next quarterback, is this a do or die year for Xavier Legette?
Heck yeah, bro. I mean, they just drafted McMillan last year in the first round. They got Coker out there at wide receiver as well. I think, unfortunately for Xavier, he becomes a very quick afterthought, probably in the first couple of weeks if he does not make any impact. Carolina fans, honestly, I've talked to a lot of them. They hate that man. It's really when he got drafted, they loved him. They couldn't, he was in music videos. He was in, he was like really that guy when he first got to Carolina. But now, I've heard some bad things said about that young man, unfortunately. So if he does not produce this year for them in a way that is respectable of a first round pick, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad for Mr. Legette in Carolina. He's gonna be out there for sure. So
yeah, what was the viral little meme? 1, 2, 3, release him. He about to get released, boy.
Yeah, it's gonna get bad for sure.
Yeah, he might get cut. They might not even trade him. They might just release that man.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
You gotta be able to catch the ball as a wide receiver, bro.
Got to. I mean, that's literally your
first round pick.
First round pick, Hundo. Yes.
You got to
to get him. If I'm not mistaken, I think they might have traded
on the back end of the first round.
Yep.
You gotta be able to catch the ball, bro.
Gotta be able to catch the ball, bro. They're gonna point at McMillan and say he did it as a rookie. So what's your excuse?
1,000 yards.
That's literally what they're gonna say. So yeah, this is if we talk about hot seats, he's on one. And him and Bryce together, they look at each other like, hey, brother, you help me, I help you. For real. So, yeah. And if it's Bryce's job on the line, he might not get the targets to even whatever. Because I'm not even going to give you the opportunity to make me look bad if I'm my money on the line.
I can't. You messing up my completion percentage.
Listen, what? What Collin said, I got to get mine. And if you a part of me not getting mine, nah, that ain't gonna cut it. Yeah. So yeah. I definitely think in high seat. Next quarterback I'm thinking about is Mr. CJ Stroud down in Houston, bro. Another quarterback from this class from Mr. Bryce, the number 2 overall pick that year in Houston. And we've seen him have he had a hot start to his career in year 1. And year 2 and 3, he has kind of regressed. Now it's crazy that we say regress because he made the playoffs in both of those years. Still, and now, mind you, it in part was not because of him; it was because of that defense being elite. But is Mr. CJ Stroud on the hot seat? That's the question.
Absolutely. That joint is flaming. I think CJ is regressing back to what I expect Ohio State quarterbacks to look like. Their defense is just too good, bro. Like, last year they were on the verge of making the I was about to say Eastern Conference line. They were on the verge of making the AFC Championship, but he literally just had to be a game manager, and he couldn't do that. And I don't think that the Texans want to waste all-time level defense on below average quarterback play. I just feel like he's having a hard time making the reads. Like, I can't be talking about Anthony Richardson when CJ is doing the same thing. Like, there was just simple reads that he just wasn't able to make. I think the first 2 years he was special, but I feel like these past couple of years, especially when it comes to contract years, he hasn't been worth the contract that he's potentially asking for. So I feel like if he doesn't, I could definitely see them either following the Kirk Cousins route of franchise tagging him multiple times. But if he stinks it up, I can definitely see them trying to either look in the next draft or trying to move on from him. And I definitely think there's some quarterbacks that would want to come to the Texans right away.
Yeah, I hope Buddy got some type of eye surgery in the off season because Buddy clearly can't see. Like, some of the interceptions he was throwing last year was just inexcusable. Like, you didn't see this man standing right there. You just threw the ball to him. Literally just giving the ball away, bro. Like, you got to be better, bro. Like Collin said, you got too good of a defense, a top defense in the league. All you got to do is take care of the ball. You take care of the ball, y'all gonna win a lot of games. So I definitely think he on the hot seat. Did y'all see the video of him walking into the building today?
Yeah, bro.
It was like all his aura is gone.
Yeah, bro. He looked sad going into the building, bro.
Yeah,
He didn't cut the dreads off.
But he got locked in, man.
Maybe that'll help him lock in though, bro. Maybe he done got some time away praying and studying and fasting, and maybe he's ready to go, man. So me personally, I want the best for CJ Stroud, bro. I really believe he can be a good quarterback, bro. But he gotta believe it for himself. Yep. So wish him all the best in Houston this year. But he is on the hot seat. Definitely is on the hot seat. Now these are some guys who I think could potentially be on the hot seat. Let me give you a couple of names. Tell me what y'all think about this. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna go to Green Bay. Mr. Jordan Love. I know y'all looking at me crazy, but listen, what I'm about to tell y'all.
Who you replacing him with, though? That's my only thing.
I mean, once again, we got a 27 draft coming up. So I mean, you gonna ask the same question for a lot of these guys.
I'm taking Jordan Love over them guys.
Yeah, Jordan Love's close to the top 10 for me.
So no hot seat for Jordan. Okay.
I don't think so.
He said that Hundo like that was gonna be the one.
I had some notes. I just want to hear what y'all got to say.
I'm gonna have some support on this one.
No. Listen, I'm not looking for support. I just want to see what your thoughts were. Okay. So no Jordan Love on the hot seat. What y'all think about? Obviously, I know y'all gonna say Collins on the hot seat. We already talked about that. What do y'all think about staying within that division though? I'm missing somebody. No, not Caleb. Well, no, I'm just getting out of the division. Excuse me. Getting out of the division. What y'all think about Brock Purdy in San Fran? Is he hot seat worthy? I know he got paid a couple years ago, but San Fran hasn't been producing, and they have had the defense has still been cooping. So
I think Brock is safe as long as he's consistent. I feel like like last year was the injuries with the entire team, but they still made it to the divisional round with the NFC. I feel like if he can continue to do that, he'll be straight in terms of his quarterback position. I feel like they're trying with the Brandon Ayuk situation, and we'll see how Matt Evans looks coming in. I feel like he gets a pass because the wide receiver position and just the injuries. So we'll see. I want to see what he looks like with the healthy roster.
Yeah, that's really been the big question is like if they're healthy, he's solid enough to get the job done. Like he's not an elite type quarterback, but like he could easily be in that Sam Darnold, type role, lead them boys to the Super Bowl again and possibly win it if they're healthy. That's gonna be the biggest thing. Like I don't think Brock Purdy is necessarily a bad quarterback, but he is like an elite quarterback. I do think he has to win in the postseason though, in order to keep his job, because like we can't just keep getting to the postseason and losing. Yeah. Despite the injuries, despite the health and everything. So I'm gonna say I think he's fine right now, but I think maybe like after next season, going into next season, he could possibly be on the hot seat.
Okay.
But hold on, John. Because you skipped over like that division, but I think Jared Goff is on the hot seat. We talked about it in the group last couple of weeks, but like I think Jared Goff gets a pass. He stunk it up versus Jaden Daniels in the playoffs. He had an okay year this past season, and their roster is they're going to have to start paying some guys. And I don't think he's the type of quarterback that can get you over the hump. If they have another mediocre year, I definitely can see them like inquiring about some quarterbacks. But I don't think he's safe either because he's not been an elite quarterback, and he's getting paid.
What do you think it'll take though? Like as far as him getting out of there?
I think if he has another year like the Washington year where the roster is good and everybody's producing and he stinks it up with those 3 interceptions, 1 fumble, and 19.2 quarterback rating in a pivotal playoff game, he's out of there. He is out of there. Like I think Detroit can only hold on for so long because you got to start paying Jameer, you got Penei Sewell, you got to make a decision on Jameson Williams. No, I'm just saying like you got guys that you're paying max contracts to. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra, Aiden Hutchinson. So it's like at some point, it's going to fall on the quarterback, especially if he's getting paid top of the line money.
Yeah. My only thing with some of these hot seats potentially is just like, who are you going to replace him with? Because like, if not Jared Goff, who can you possibly bring in that's either on that level or above that level that you think can get you over the hump? Because I don't think he's necessarily bad. He has some bad moments, yes, but like overall,
he's been
like he's a pretty good
quarterback. Yeah, and I think to answer that question, Hundo, I think that kind of goes. You also got to base that off of the fact of like that to Collin's point. I think that'll be more of a timing thing, right? I think that let's say Jared's bad, and CJ gets cut, or Bryce gets cut, or Baker gets cut. Then we think about bringing one of those guys in. But I don't think it's like, okay, CJ gets paid, Bryce gets paid, Baker gets paid. We're not gonna give it to Jared, even if he stinks, because what that goes to your point of who do we replace him with? You know what I'm saying? Because we also not, to Collin's point, we're also not gonna waste the roster. We're gonna just stay with what we got and just pray he gets better. We're not gonna say I'm gonna turn over to a rookie when we got all these guys on max contract. We're not gonna do that either. So I think it really becomes situational to some of those to this particular hot seat, I'd say, with Jared Goff.
What if the Bengals miss the playoffs again? Do you think Joe Burrow will be on the move?
Because of Joe or because of Cincinnati?
Wait, hold on. Is the coach still hired there? He's still there?
Zach Taylor's still there currently, but if they don't make playoffs this year,
he's out of here. They're moving him before Joe Burrow. Oh, that was my point in asking that.
I got you. Yeah.
That coach is getting fired before Joe Burrow's gone.
Yeah, for sure. Without a shadow of a doubt. I said that earlier in the offseason. Like the entire division got a new head coach besides them. If they
Yeah.
don't do anything this year, he's out of there. They're definitely not gonna get rid of Joe before
Yeah,
that.
Joe's staying as long as he can.
Yeah.
Nah, I was saying it more so like a Carson Palmer situation where Carson was like, I'm just done with Cincinnati and just requested the trade. And I think he retired, honestly.
Possibly if they bring Zach Taylor back, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I could definitely see him if he gets mauled like he's been doing for the past couple of years. I definitely could see him asking for a trade, even with T and Jamar under contract. It's like I can't give him the ball, so what's the point? Like, so I definitely could see that happening. But before that gets to that point, they can get rid of Zach first and say, give us another opportunity under a new regime first, then tell us you don't want to be there. So I think that'll happen first before that gets to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Do y'all think this probably way left field and probably not gonna happen? What about Jaden Daniels? Do y'all think he's on the hot seat or no?
Heck no.
No.
Heck no, bro.
I think just because of the situation in Washington, what you gonna replace with Washington? You gonna go back to where you were before?
Factual.
Yeah.
So
Literally, the only option is regression. Without Jaden, oh my gosh, it gets scary. We see what happened when they didn't have Jaden last year. It got scary. So they're praying and hoping and doing everything they can to say, "Hey, stay healthy and please."
what about that?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was about to go.
I think he has that same kind of Jared Goff where it's like it's gonna be situational. I don't think you're just gonna cut Dak and then just say let's just start over right now because once again you still got CD Lamb under contract. You got that defense under got a couple of those defensive stalwarts. You got Quentin Williams. You got there's another guy. Of course you got Caleb. He's young. He's bad on the count. But you got Quentin Williams. So you got a couple pieces out
Rashawn
there.
Gary.
Rashawn Gary out there. That D line is actually kind of decent. That front seven kind of decent for them in Dallas. So I mean, I think you got some pieces out there to where you're saying I can't get rid of my franchise quarterback and have nothing to replace him with, and just tell these other guys to just hold tight for another season or two for a guy to come out of college. I don't think that they can do that in Dallas. So I think it's more situation where it's CJ gets cut, somebody wants out of their team and they can potentially try to get a trade off or something like that. I think it's very situational with Dak as well.
Yeah. Similar to what John said, I think it'll be like a trade situation. Similar to what we saw with Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, two, young to veteran type quarterbacks, getting traded for one another. Because I feel like they got too much tied up with that to just, let them walk for nothing. I think they'll trade them and try to get something back for them, and still try to be in contention for the Cowboys fans.
Yeah. What about Jalen? Like, if the Eagles have a bad season, you traded away AJ Brown. There was a lot of rifts in the locker room. If he can't get it done, then like you've gone through offensive coordinators. Like, do you think Jalen's on the hot seat?
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Nah. Philly might change their minds, but as of right now, nah. I don't think he's on the hot seat right now. I definitely think they'll give him another 2 to 3 years max.
Yeah. I think if anything, they'll go get him another proven weapon, and see what he does. Because I feel like this first year without AJ might be a little bit rough on him. Yeah. But I feel like once they see how he looks, I don't know, without AJ, try to make another personnel move or try to go get another weapon. And after that, then he'll probably be out of there if he can't do anything.
I agree with that. For sure. So, yeah, man. Any final thoughts, fellas?
Almost all the quarterbacks we don't went through.
I think so too. At least the ones that could be on the hot.
Trevor?
Seat.
I don't think so. I think he's fine. Yeah.
I think he falls into that situational category.
I feel like he's good because, I feel like he's going to be competing for the division.
That's also true.
As long as he's atop that division, first or second in that division, and can make the playoffs, he'll be fine. Because, he was balling last year.
That's true. He was good last year.
I go back to the Broncos game. That boy was going crazy on us.
Yeah,
He was running the ball, throwing the ball. He looked like he was back at Clemson.
yeah. He definitely had some games like that last year for sure. So yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, Hundo made a great point with that. I agree with that 110%.
Okay.
So
No, man, I think it's gonna be an exciting next couple of weeks. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy, especially with all these training camp injuries.
yeah,
Excited, man. I think also too. I feel like it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, this is probably the first year in a while we've had like a quote unquote super team in the NFL with the Rams, and so I'm curious to see what that looks like in terms of like the storylines around LA. And I don't know if NFL super teams function the same as NBA super teams because there's a lot more that goes into it, especially health. So excited to see what that looks like because it's like Rams versus the field in everybody's mind. But I think it's going to be harder for the Rams to achieve that. So
yeah. The Rams definitely gonna be an intriguing story out of the NFC. I do have a lot of spotlight on them and a target on their back. Honestly, it's crazy that Seattle, doesn't have that this year because of LA and because of that trade. So yeah, definitely be a good season to watch in the NFC how the battle works out, and because they're in the same division. So definitely gonna be interesting to see how that all shakes out in the NFC come let's just say November. You know what I'm saying? We're looking back like, let's see where we at.
Yeah.
So
And then that NFC North gonna be interesting too.
mm-hmm.
Get out of there.
Yeah,
Like the NFC gonna be tough just in general because
yeah,
anything can happen with any of
that's
them
fact.
teams, specifically in those two divisions, the North and the West.
Yeah.
Because outside of Arizona, everybody else should be competitive between those two divisions alone. So we'll see. They could slip up and doggone lose some games.
Facts. That's facts, brother. Excited for it. Excited. Can't wait till tomorrow. Finally get to see the Ravens back in practice, man. I can't wait for the pads to come on. We get a lot of opportunity now to see shorts and t-shirts, right? But now, these guys are really ramping it up. And in a couple weeks, we get able to see some pads, and padded practices, and we'll have combined practices with teams and preseason. I
We
mean,
don't
we're
need
just
no
here,
fighting.
huh?
We don't need no fighting.
Oh no, I need to see the fights. That's part of football, brother. I love it. I mean, it's a gladiator sport. It's grown men doing what they got to do. So let's get straight to it, fellas. I'm excited to lock in every single week. We'll definitely be, giving y'all weekly content with that for sure at the NFL. We will be back. Me and Hunter got to talk W. We haven't talked
We
W
got
in a
you, bro.
minute.
We
Yeah,
got
it's
been too
been too
long.
long. It's been way too long. We apologize for that for sure. It's been a lot has happened. So please, bear with us. We'll definitely get a W episode out really, really soon. I promise. Um, and then, of course, these guys are already talking NBA because there's a lot been happening there, as y'all know. I heard them talk about Braun and the Western Conference and the East as well. So, y'all tap in if you have not to the latest podcast when they talked about the Western Conference and the NBA and the transitions that have been made in the past couple weeks. Um, and y'all stay tuned, man. We appreciate the love, support that y'all continue to show the podcast, the winning shot. You'll continue the interactions on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere else we have platforms right now. We appreciate all of that, the candor. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll continue to put out content. We appreciate y'all. And we look forward to seeing y'all at the next appointed time. Much love and God bless. Peace.
Peace.
peace.